Hello and welcome to Talkin' Baseball. The stars are out, Trev. 40-40 club. 51 homers in August. Who did that? Let's talk ball, though. You know? Tigers looking to sweep the White Sox. Showed the D. Hello and welcome to Talkin' Baseball, presented to you by SeatGeek. Make sure you go and check out your team. A month left, people. The season ends on September 28th. It's August 26th. Go see your team, even if they're on their way out. Get that final taste. We were telling our tech guy, Mike, you got to go to one of these September games where the weather's going to change. The atmosphere changes a little bit at the stadium. And with code TALKIN10 on SeatGeek, you save 10% off any tickets, whether you've used the code before. It's SeatGeek. Code TALKIN10, 10% off. Trevor Plouffe, the San Diegon. I feel like that's every time I turn my head, you're there. How are you doing?
I'm doing well. It's going to be a big San Diego ep for me today, whether it's the Padres, whether it's the city, whether it's the stadium. I just recently put out there on social media that I think Petco might be the number one park in all of baseball, and go ahead and try to argue that. It's tough. But I'm doing great. Definitely had a fun week filled with a ton of ball. Was a glorified babysitter at a baseball game. So that was like a new experience for me, but I got a lot of stuff today. I'm excited to yuck some ball with you. Raw dogging it with no headphones here, so that's new for me. I'm on the raw dog trend.
Oh boy.
Have you heard of that trend? Is that a real thing?
Say in a way. Yeah. No, it's a real thing. I mean, for those who don't know, if you're on a flight,
and give them the definition,
and you just watch the map the whole time, I think fellas and some ladies are doing that just to say they did it.
Also, Sabrina Carpenter moved closer to me. The plot thickens. God. Like, what is going on here? I don't know.
Yeah, Trevor, it looked like you had your little league down there. I saw a little bit of content. Looked like the boys went tarps off trying to get some jumbotron attention. Did you start that or?
No, I guess a couple of them went the night before and got on the Jumbotron while they were doing that. So then that was all they could think about. Right. So every single inning, I'm not talking like they did it once. Every single inning, tarps were off. And we had this like creepy old guy behind us, like second inning or whatever, comes down, does it with the boys. And we're like, okay, that's funny. Like one time is funny.
Right.
And then he kept doing it, and we're like, "Hey, bud, like this is enough." And he was inebriated, and whatever. But I had to shoo him off, bro. Like I'm the chaperone. I can't let that happen.
Wow, that and more from San Diego and Trevor Plouffe coming up this episode. I think we start getting into the baseball. The AL, I know. Dalt's come up with some fake rules on how to load up the sheep, kind of like who's the home team or whatever. The AL it's packed.
Yeah, how is there 50 games in the AL? I don't understand. The math isn't mathing for me right now.
I think we get into it. Babes, I think I'm going to tell the people about T-Mobile after the AL recap, in between Trevor Plouffe's standings report. Get ready, people. He's got them. In the American League, we start out with two of the favorites. The Houston Astros went down to Baltimore, and they split 4. A preview of October. Astros won the first game. Spencer Arrighetti. Man, he has been twirling the pill. Almost got my standout, did not. But how about the Cardiac Kids, the Birds? They come back in the next 2 games. Anthony Santander with the grand salami, and Jackson Holiday clears the bases, a 3 RBI pinch hit to get out of an 0 for 20 as they come back in those middle 2 games. But on Sunday Night Baseball, Yiner Diaz and Alex Bregman. Which one are you, Bregman? I'm Yiner. They go back-to-back on Sunday Night Baseball. They split the 4-gamer. Yusei Kikuchi, man, only gave up one mistake. He's looked good for them. 4-game split, whatever. D-backs, they ain't splitting shit, pop. Whoa, he's cursing again. The D-backs, they sweep the Red Sox. That's why. They blow him out in game 1. Gino Suarez, Eugenio, formerly Seattle Mariner. He had 3 massive games this series. A game didn't go by where he didn't have 2 RBI. Tanner Houck gets knocked around. They were up 4-0 in the final game, and the Snakes came charging back. Torey Lavello's doing their fantasy football draft order by hitting batting practice. The vibes don't get any better as the Diamondbacks, they sweep the Red Sox as their hopes and dreams are coming spinning to the ground. The Philadelphia Phillies, they take the final 2 games in Kansas City after losing the first. Taijuan Walker gets knocked around by the boys. Salvi, Vinny Pasquantino, Renfroe, and DeYoung. Sure. Michael Wacha with a good start, but then Ranger Suarez is back. 5 innings, 1 earned run with a limited pitch count. JT Realmuto, 2 homers, 7 RBI day. Little MLB Network game. Hope people were tuning into that ad. And then, hey, let's rest him the next day. And Garrett Stubbs goes 4 for 4, catching for him. They put up another 11-burger. They bully Kansas City those final 2 games. In the great Pacific Northwest, my Seattle Mariners, they took 2 out of 3 from those Jugador Gigantes, including a walk-off Leo Rivas in that first game. They win on Snell Day, like I told you, but not how I thought. Snell only goes 3 innings, 6 walks. The bullpen did their job, but so did Bryan Wu on the final day. 7 innings pitched, 1 earned run. All they do is win in the Dan Wilson era? Fire your manager, people. Guardians, they take 2 out of 3 from the Texas Rangers. Rangers and former Twins trade bait, Nathan Eovaldi, they get it done on that first game, but the Guards come back. It's Christmas time all summer. John Kensey Noel. Every game, this guy's hitting a homer, man. Unbelievable. Matthew Boyd and Ben Lively starting. Who is this Guardians team? They pitch, they play defense, and they've got a hell of a bullpen. We've got some Class A Cy Young buzz. Trev's going to talk all about that after the standings. Cardinals take 2 out of 3 from the Twins. Cardinals fighting for their lives. Eric Fediwap with a good start. Good for him. Same with Andre Palante. 7 innings, 1 earned run. Wilson Contreras with a good game, but then he gets hit in the hand again. He goes back to the IL. Victor Scott with a home run in that 3-2 win over Trev Zebby Matthews. Lars Nootbaar. Eddie Julian, what are you doing, baby? Playing catch with the left fielder to lose the game. Ouch. Brewers, they take 2 out of 3 from the Oakland Athletics. Former Yankees, Gary Sanchez, Jake Bowers, your guy Rhys Hoskins with a couple big games. Oakland wins that final game. You can run it a little bit. I can't believe how many AL games there are. We haven't talked about the New York Yankees and how they took down Kelsey Wingert's Rock. She's in the building. Nikki Cass is throwing out first pitches. What simulation are we in? Speaking of that simulation, Aaron Judge has 51 home runs, including 2 on the final day. He's showing up Juan Soto, who's been incredible. Jake Cave, Michael Tolley, and the boys took him down on Old Timers Day. Credit there. Toronto Blue Jays, are they back? 4-game sweep of the Angels. Bowden Francis with a great start. Taylor Ward said he wasn't twirling anything special up there, but Kevin Gossman was. Maybe his best start of the year. Blue Jays, Addison Barger, they like him. He's playing, why not? And the Tigers, they take 3 from the White Sox with the 4th game coming today. Tigers trying to get near that 500 mark. Let's see if they're there, and we'll check in on the standings. The AL's brought to you by T-Mobile. Swing into the future and elevate your game day experience. Folks, when you're out and about, best way to follow your favorite team is with T-Mobile. When you're traveling, Trev went down to San Diego twice. T-Mobile had him covered. When you're on the road trying to watch your team, how about making phone calls? That's where cell phones kind of started. I send a lot of text messages. T-Mobile is where you need to be. Get their Magenta status. Discounts on select MLB games. Save on hotels, rental cars, in-flight Wi-Fi. You got it. Swing into the future with T-Mobile. Elevate your game day experience. Learn more at T-Mobile.com/MLB. See how to get Magenta status. There's a link in the description. Tell me you have the standings.
I do, Pop. You're incredible. Like, I envision you right exactly like that. You, Kyle Farmer, Vinny Pasquantino, just add a gas after doing your job.
Yeah.
Got the job done. Let me get some oxygen. Are we ever going to stop calling it a phone? Nobody makes phone calls anymore.
Whoa.
We're going to start calling it the iText.
All right.
You heard it here first. I do have the standings. Do you want to, Pop? It's the AL. It is Monday, so we start in the Central, where the Guardians are 75 and 55. Their lead was down to 1, Jake.
Yeah.
Before they won the last 2 games, and the Royals and the Twins did not. Royals 3 games back, 72 and 58. Same for my Twins. The Detroit Tigers, as you mentioned, 65 and 66. Okay, I would love for them to finish above 500. That'd be great. And then the White Sox, they did it, Jake. They absolutely did it. 31 and 100. Congrats to the White Sox. You got to 100 losses. No, you don't want to snap to that. Okay, we'll go out west. The Houston Astros, 10 games above 500 at 70 and 60. Mariners closing the gap, 4.5 games back, 66 and 65. Dan Wilson. Is Edgar Martinez really there? They said he was coming. I don't know. The Rangers, 60 and 71. Oh, my gosh. It's okay. They got a ring last year. Oakland, 56 and 75. And the Los Angeles Angels, 54 and 77. Then out east, the Yankees with a commanding 1.5 game lead, 77 and 54 on the year. Baltimore 76 and 56. Crazy. Okay, whatever. Boston 67 and 62. The Tampa Bay Rays right at 500, 65 and 65, and Toronto 63 and 68. In the wild card, Jake, as we stand right now, it's the Baltimore Orioles in the top spot, 3 games above those Twins and the Royals, who are both tied. The Twins do have the head-to-head record. They have the tiebreaker, so they would technically be the second team in right now. Kansas City will be the third team in, and then Boston. Although both teams lost 2 out of 3 this series, Boston gets swept, so they lose another game. 4.5 games back. Seattle 6.5 games back, and then we're not talking about the rest of you suckers. Those are the standings in the American League.
Good stuff, Trevor Goof. Yeah, I guess a little bit of a shakeup in the standings with the Yanks currently in first place in the AL East. We'll probably see those teams wrestle back and forth a little bit. And yeah, your Twins and Royals right now, 4.5 up on the Sox. Is the AL postseason locked up?
Speaking of the AL postseason, let's give the people what would be happening right now. So as we stand, it would be the Yankees and Cleveland getting the bye. And then it would be Houston hosting the Royals and Baltimore hosting the Twins for 3 games. That's what it would be right now. And are we going to do Stimulator today?
It's not a Monday thing. We thought we had it last Friday, but awards just went so rampant. We got too hot to trot. I think Friday.
Okay, people are asking.
We didn't think about it going in.
We got so hot, and I mean, it was about Jackson Merrill, who had himself a weekend, by the way.
Sheesh, bro.
That guy.
We'll talk more about the
That's
Padres.
an NL thing, dude.
What?
An NL thing.
Yeah.
Trev, great standings. It got emotional at the end. Not sure why. And yeah, I'm excited. Royals are going to play the Guards for 4 this week, so they're going to kind of see if this AL Central can become more of a discussion. But yeah, looking at these wild card standings, it's a pretty big if the Sox don't show a little fight soon, or the Rays or Mariners go nuts, I don't know. It might be game blouses. And then it's just going to be rearranging the pieces to get the matchups going on. Let's start with two of the big chess pieces. The Houston Astros, who are inevitable. The Baltimore Orioles, who feel like they are in the start of something special. They teed it up for 4. It ended on Sunday Night Baseball. Breggy goes yard job with Yiner to kind of put this one away or give them a lead that they put away. A lot of good baseball being played. The Orioles, the baby birds, with a couple big comebacks, which that's always a sign of you want to see that from your team come late in the season, that you're never down and out. They ended an Astros 9-game road stretch at one point. Oh, my God. How about, did you see my guy Mauricio Dubon's catch?
Oh.
Covered 130 feet, full tilt into the wall. That was insanity. Corbin Burns kind of gets knocked around again. I guess, Trev, what did you see on the field?
It's a great series. I mean, you mentioned October, and we joke about that, but I would love to see this series in October. These two teams going at it. I think they match up pretty well. Hector Neris, welcome back to the Astros. You got to love that.
Yeah.
The Dubon catch was nasty. I was watching that with Teddy last night, and the sound it made was crazy. He went full tilt. You can see how much ground he covers in this video. And it's weird because the warning strike's there, but because that little part of the fence juts in right there, you think you have more room until you don't. I mean, he doesn't play at that park very often. And then, dang, I thought he dislocated the shoulder, but thankfully I don't think he did. I think he's okay. I don't know if we have reports, but he got nailed. That was a lot.
Well, it's one of those things that you, I don't know, practicing catching fly balls. He was shifted to kind of center, that he covered 130 feet. Like, normally when you see a highlight reel catch in MLB and it's like, whoa, look how much ground they covered, it usually lands around 90 plus. 130 feet, and you see, like, his legs start losing at the end, almost like a track guy who's running out of steam, just because you don't see guys pursue balls that far. Incredible play, and changed kind of the tone of that game, that they were up 3-0 after getting come back on 2 nights. They have the big inning where the Orioles hit it, what was it, 2 home runs or 1 home run to tie it up at 3s, and then that catch kind of changed the tone. Breggy goes yard. Also, a really weird ESPN interview after that. If someone knows, if someone watched it, comment, because they were interviewing Bregman, and it's funny because Bregman's still not the Bregman that was out before the incident. He's a lot more conscious. He's also an adult now. Like, the WWE Bregman pre-Astros stuff used to be pretty hot to trot. Now he's calculated and all that. The interview was like on a Trolls level of Vliedorf to Grumbrawl. What level pain is your shoulder in? And he's doing the athlete like, I don't really want to talk about how banged up I am. Like, we just won a game. And the reference was something that I didn't know. So I'm just picturing Alex Bregman after the game being like, I thought it was a prank.
I didn't see this interview, so I don't know what the heck you're talking about. I thought you made those words up too. That was an actual reference on.
So the troll names I just made up, because I had no clue
what
she was talking about in the interview. That, I don't know. It almost seemed like she had a bet with one of the producers. Like, do you think you could work in these trolls from some movie or something? And she won. But, I mean, Bregman and I were stupefied. I guess that's a little off the field. I mean, what else do we need to talk about here? It is crazy seeing Neris come in and just be clean with Houston, and it's like, okay.
No, this was great. I mean, first of all, the matchup in Game 3 is your Super Bowl right there. We have Framber going against Albert Suarez, which was awesome to see. And then that was the Jackson Holiday big hit against Taylor Scott, my guy.
Ooh.
Yeah. Ever since I gave him my I Love Africa award.
Yeah.
he's gotten hit around just a little bit. Not all his runs, but that was yeah. Framber's there. They bring in Taylor Scott to face the righty. Brandon Hyde, who had given Jackson the day off, pinch hits. Apparently, this whole golden tee situation is going on where um, Jackson's like the best golden tee player around. He set the records. If you go to the Cleveland clubhouse, Jake, let me tell everyone this.
Yeah.
They
I know, but why don't you tell everyone else?
Exactly. They have the arcade games in there. So, there's everything. And I don't know if the guys are still there. My guy, Willie, and Wayne, they have you can get like Super Nintendo games. You can get whatever you want from this clubhouse, but they have the game set up. So like if you go get the high score in some of these games, like it's no one around the league, like that's it. So apparently Jackson Holiday broke all the records on Golden Tee, and when he plays Golden Tee, he starts to go off. So Golden Tee saw this ads, I guess.
Yeah.
Sent the clubhouse in Baltimore a Golden Tee setup, and while it was getting put into the clubhouse, Jackson Holiday pinch hits. It's the go-ahead knock, and all these things are happening. But he had been mired in a slump. I think he was 0 for 20. Gets the knock off of Taylor Scott, and so that was cool to see. And then this was just a good series, back and forth. Hunter Brown does his thing. Ben Gamble still doing his thing for the Houston Astros, and you could tell there's not a big difference as far as like talent levels on these teams. Like these two teams match up very, very well against each other. Sir Anthony Dominguez gets 2 saves in this series. The 2 games that Baltimore wins, he picks up both saves. So it's like, I think we're all trying to fine tune things basically at this point of the year for these two teams. That's kind of how I'm seeing both of the organizations go right now. They're fine tuning things that they pretty much know they're going to be in the playoffs, have to finish the job off, but I like seeing them, man. It's a good series.
Yeah. Josh Hader, 28 consecutive saves. Remember when the Astros bullpen had concerns earlier this year? Welcome to the squad, Ben Gamble. Ramon Urias has been going off for the Orioles, and he's normally kind of a glove first-ish guy, so he's been contributing. And I mentioned Arrighetti on the way through. The way he's been pitching.
Yeah, it's big.
Let's see. 2.55 ERA, 36 Ks in 24.2 innings. That's a guy you're going to be seeing in October.
And also, I wanted to go back to Santander. The pitch that he hit out was wild. 96 above his eyes. That was like a Jose Altuve swing right there.
Highest pitch off the ground that an Oriole has homered on this year.
They were talking about how, it was the loudest they've heard the stadium this year. The team was going nuts. Like one of those moments where, the Orioles have been kind of middling around as of late, but sometimes you have these big moments that get you, wake you up a little bit. Maybe that was it. I don't know, man.
This weekend had a little bit of... I already said this word. I guess that's how you know. Parents, cover your kids' ears. Shit's getting real.
Ooh.
You can just kind of feel it. Like
the S word.
You kind of, if you're a struggling player, you got a couple weeks to figure it out. Otherwise, if you're a playoff team, like you got to start making business decisions. I don't know. The feel feels more real. That I think the Orioles. Those 2 comebacks are going to feel pretty good, and they have been in a mire for a little bit that they will get out of it. In Houston, again, we've done some of their splits. Once you take out that icky start, they've been the best team.
More on Houston later.
Oh.
More on them.
Let's do the D-backs Red Sox quick. Sorry to all my Red Sox faithful. D-backs come out. Zach Gallen, barely didn't mention him on the way through, 6 shutout. That helps a lot. Eugenio Suarez, you're going to hear about him later, to be completely honest. Snakes have won 7 in a row. In that final game, I don't want to say it's the backbreaker for the Sox, but they're up 4-0 in that one. Houck is out there, couple weird plays in the field, and then it was all snakes the rest of the way. Red Sox are 29-35 at Fenway this year. Like I said, with S getting real, filtered myself. When you start seeing numbers like that, it's like, well, that's kind of the ticket at this point. Red Sox, like, you got to be better at home than that. No excuses.
Yeah, I get that. And it's such a weird feeling for them because you win a series against Baltimore, or I guess you split a series against Baltimore, you win a series against Houston, and then just take 3 straight L's to the Diamondbacks, who are also one of the better teams in the league if you chop up the season. It's a tough stretch of baseball. They got Toronto coming into town, then they go to Detroit, go to New York, play Chicago. So this is where they can get right. And like as you're saying, they kind of it's go time now. Like this is the stretch for them that they got to win. The Mets are still playing good ball, although the Padres just kind of maybe weakened their resolve a little bit over the weekend. We'll talk about that, but yeah, this is the stretch where they got to go. We mentioned that gauntlet they were about to go through, and I think besides the sweep with the Diamondbacks, if they would have even won one of those games, I think they would have been like, okay, we got through it. Now let's go get it, boys. But 4 against Toronto, 3 against Detroit, you gotta win 5 of those games. That's how I'm seeing it right now, Coach.
Yeah, I mean, I know we've had our 500 rule, and maybe I'm being rude to the Red Sox, but it's almost there's 6 teams at the dance right now, and someone's gonna have to do something pretty incredible to get invited back, whether it's the Sox, whether it's the Mariners.
I don't mean to be mean to my Twins fans, but like they're not out of it. The Red Sox are not out of it. If they run some games here and go on a little streak and win 3 or 4 series in a row, the Twins they're still playing decent baseball, but they got to get guys back from the IL, man. They really, really need it. And the pitching I'm a little scared. That's all I'm saying. I am not willing to say that the Twins are 100% making the dance right now. Like, that's too scary for me. I know they have a good chance and all these things, but if you're Boston, I think you're still smelling blood in the water.
Well, you brought them up. Let's do some Central quick. The Twins-Cardinals series, if you didn't see I don't want to say the final play in the Cardinals-Twins game, but what ended up altering the result, potential double play ball, 9th inning, Duran into Eddie Julien, and Julien kind of splits the gap between the shortstop and the ump, and the throw ends up in left field. Could have been game over. It's 2nd and 3rd with 1 out instead. Duran freezes Tommy Pham, was not expecting the curveball, and then Lars Nootbaar just goes with it through the hole, 2-run score. Here comes Helsley, who I think he's got like 40 saves. Yeah. That the Cardinals, the fighting birds, are trying to stay alive. And you could hear it in Trevor Plouffe's voice. Some concerns in Minnesota.
A little bit. Again, I think the majority of my concern is IL based. Like Buck and Correa, like they're not even really doing baseball activity yet, which is tough for me. Like, they need to be back in the lineup. I know Brooks Lee is he rehabbed. I think he might even play tonight, which will be huge for the Twins. Got to give it to the Cardinals. Hey, man, Kyle Gibson came into town, got the guy some coffee. I guess they had some weird stuff going on at the hotel, some like water issues. I don't know what that means, but Gibby, you know what I love about Gibby? This is so smart for a veteran. You have a night at the hotel where things aren't going right. Maybe you have guys, staying up late. They might come to the park the next day being like, oh, man, I didn't get any sleep. Gibby took it upon himself to get like 16 coffees and just brought him into the clubhouse. The guys, no, boys, we're getting up for the game. Let's go. Just that mentality is awesome. That's why we love Kyle Gibson around here.
Know what else you like about Kyle Gibson?
Talk to me.
$66 million. I mean, okay, Gibby.
He's made that much?
Yeah. 12 million team option next year.
He's got nothing in his basement, just so you know. He's probably got like a playroom for his kids and a prayer
Yeah.
corner. Like he is
He's
just
got the. Yeah, he's got. I have Gibson having the like.
a nice
don't-
Bible or
I
something.
don't want to say this in a rude way. I have him having like a very generic kids playroom, kind of from the 2000s. Like it's got the puzzle piece soft tile down there. It's got the slide that I feel like everyone saw at 2 or 3 friends' house. Like I just think cookie cutter, safe, missionary. What were you saying?
I don't know. You got me right there a little bit.
I'm over the Twins. Cardinals keep fighting, man. They won their last 2 series over the Twins and the Brewers. That I know we don't talk about teams under 500. They're at 500. They host your Padres, which you told me it's going to be a huge Padres episode. Padres, Yankees, Brewers again, Mariners, Cardinals. They're playing with piss and vinegar. You got to believe to believe. Let's see if they can make us believe.
By the way, I don't know. I don't want to. I can't keep going. My Twins are.
Yeah, no, because we need to talk about the Kansas City Royals, who they win that first game. Phillies are in town.
And then what happened?
Big Sal. He's playing it wiffle ball with the kids in the neighborhood, obviously, because he is the man. And then the Phillies Phillied. 2-11 burgers. Ranger Suarez comes back. JT Realmuto reminds everyone that he'll still be that guy if you need it. Schwartz showing some signs of getting out of his slump. Austin Hayes returned for them. But yeah, this was I was really interested to see the third game because, okay, that second game, the Phillies, they blow it open. It is what it is. Realmuto, I think 7 RBI, career high. Like, oh, good for you, dude. Great. I was really interested to see Kansas City. Summer's winding down. You got a big of a tester game here. Phillies Royals, and it was all Phillies. 7 for 14 with runners in scoring position. The bottom of their lineup goes 8 for 12. Kobe Allard starting to give Wheeler and Nola extra rest with Seth Lugo having one of his tougher starts of the year. Obviously, not what you want. I think more so, no shots fired at the Royals, who they can get rid of this instantly. They're playing the guard dogs for 4, like I said. You win 3. This series never happened. I liked this for the Phillies as like a first kind of tester. 2 teams fighting. 2 playoff teams. Rubber match, and the Phillies dropped it on them.
Fighting. I like it. Yeah, I know. Philly needs they similar to Baltimore and Santander, like they need a moment to get them going. They need a series to get them going to kind of rev the engines a little bit. I don't think they are still I don't think they still have the I don't give a shit as Jimmy likes to say. I think got smacked in the face a little bit now, and they understand, okay, it's time to pick it up, which is good. Seth Lugo kind of didn't get helped by his defense a little bit there, but I didn't know this. I knew that Kansas City was great with runners in scoring position. That's how you win baseball games. Bobby Wood Jr., Salvador Perez, and Vinny Pasquantino, 3 of the top 4 hitters in all of baseball in average with runners in scoring position. That's the stat right there.
You like that.
But the team on Sunday went 0 for 11 with runners in scoring position. That's how you lose. Yeah, I don't know. This is every time I watch the Royals, they do something. They have like somebody step up. Somebody gets the big hit. Somebody has the big game. And then the last 2 games there, the Phillies just kind of, had a couple big innings, crooked numbers. What is that? A hand on the throat?
As a
foot on the throat?
Thumb.
Thumb on the what?
I don't know. Isn't there something like that? Just thumb on like a bug or something? I don't know what that was. In my head, that made sense.
I don't know. Garrett Stubbs.
Sure.
Has a chance to hit for the cycle off a position player and takes like a 48-mile-an-hour pitch and it hits him.
Tough.
Kind of got to get out of the way of that one. Do whatever you can. I don't know, man. Like that's like your best chance ever to hit for the cycle. Thought that was funny.
You wrote the book on hitting off position players.
I did 2 for 2, 2 homers,
That's kind of
best ever.
people forget. What people won't forget, Trev, the Seattle Mariners under Dan Wilson refused to lose series. I mean, I don't know, kind of hilarious that in his first game they have one of their best comebacks of the season, 4 runs in the 8th to tie it up. Your guy, Leo Rivas, walks it off. An ugly middle game, and then they win it on that final game. Bryan Wu has joined the party as another great Mariner starting pitching, which exciting and frustrating. You might hear more about him later. What else do you want from this one, Trev?
Well, shout out Camilo Duvall for coming
He's
back.
back. Yeah.
Okay. Love that. Both these teams are fighting for their freaking life. That's what's going on right here.
Yes.
And kudos to Seattle. I kind of officially declared him dead on Friday. Not kind of. I did. I said your OPS is 666. The writing's on the wall. It's over. They have their best comeback of the year. They win the series. Please, Seattle. I would love nothing more than for you to make me look like an idiot again. Use that clip in your postseason video, please. I would love to see it. I'm rooting for Seattle. I really, really am. I really am. And maybe this is the start of it, Jake. I don't know. I mean, it's a big series win. What's their schedule? I think I got to get to it. Because
Mariners
if they have
schedule?
a soft schedule coming up, maybe they go on a run. Only 4.5 games back at Houston. It's really their only chance. Because right now in the wild card, they're 6.5. I mean, that seems daunting. Obviously, 2 games behind that, but I'm getting it up right now.
They play the Rays, who, I don't know, kind of a fair fight in a way, but
this is it, Jake. This is
I
their
know.
stretch.
Tell him.
3 games against the Rays. Then they go down to LA, not playing the Dodgers. They play the Angels for 3. And then they play Oakland for 4. And then at St. Louis. So big roadie here. Before it kind of gets a little meaty again. They do end with 3 games with Oakland. These next 10 games is the season for Seattle. Next 10 games, this is your season. Go 8-2. Go 8-2.
Dan
See what
Wilson.
happens.
Julio's playing the outfield again. You're making it sound like Seattle's alive, and you said they were dead.
Well, the Dan Wilson era happened. You know what I mean?
I mean,
Greatest manager of all time.
the zombie Mariners are back. Giants, year 500 on the nose. Robbie Ray exits with a hamstring thing. Giants AI generator, Grant McCray. Welcome to playing center field. He hits a dinger. Elliot Ramos, every game is 2 for 4 with a home run. Yeah, I like what you said. These teams are scrapping for anything at this point. And I don't know. They need to do
I just saw this note on the sheet. George Kirby, 6.52 ERA in August. 2 of his last 3 starts, he's failed to make it through the 5th. 4-seam and 2-seam were down in velo. Don't love to see that if you're a Seattle guy. Hopefully that's just kind of a little rough patch here for George. I like watching him pitch.
Hate that. The guard dogs, a little bit of a funk. They're not hitting. Game 1, they go down. Quan in a 2 for 29. They come back the next 2 days, and they beat up on the Texas Rangers 13-5. I guess fortitude, so I wouldn't call it blown up unless you see what John Kensey Noel is doing to baseballs these days. I don't have much here if you do.
More on them later, but they're like one of the more streaky teams in all of baseball. They'll run off 8 of 10, then they'll lose. How many did they lose in a row here? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 in a row. Then they won 5 in a row, and then they lost 6 of 7. Let's pick a lane here. Guard dogs. But I guess that's kind of what happens. I mean, that the way they're constructed, I mean, they're going to win 1-run games. They got some guys going offensively, the same usual suspects. But if you don't, well, I mean, besides Matthew Boyd, is all of a sudden a freaking Cy Young contender. 3 starts with them. Do you see what his numbers are with, let's see, I have it up right here. With Detroit, 15 starts, a 5.45. Comes over to Cleveland, 3 games, 16 2/3 innings to a 2.7. Is it just, and I guess I should ask myself this, or I guess we're 2 ball players, change of scenery? I didn't dive into the numbers if he's changed anything. I mean, this guy's been around for quite some time. I mean, since 2015, he's been pitching in the big leagues. It could just be like a little bump and like, hey, sense of urgency, playoff picture type starts. But I mean, that's exactly, I mean, talk about picking up from the scrap pile and figuring it out. What they've done with that rotation is something.
Your guy Ben Lively with another good one. I don't know. I mean, I'd like to see a little more from Matt Boyd before I
3 starts, Jake.
before I stamp his Cy Young.
Until he starts, until he
Cy
shoves
Young?
against the Yankees in the postseason.
Yeah, let's see it. I'm ready. Give me a Central team. Class A ZRA, Trev?
0.9.
0.6.
Ooh.
0.6. Some real Cy Young talk. I mean, Scooble has it by a horse length. What's that? But if he slips up, like right now is Corbin Burns, and his past couple haven't been pretty. That I don't know. If Scooble were to slip up in like a big way, the Class A narrative could get hot in a hurry. And I don't know. Innings-wise, I know that's always going to be a really impossible hurdle, but he is entering the air of if there is a guy or a season you'd want to partake in that, what Class A has done is unreal. And, I mean, you know, of their whole pitching staff, it's him, you know?
Their bullpen has been unbelievable, and they pitch. That's the thing. Like, they are ready to go, and Vogt has not been afraid to put them in. I know Class A has gone 4 straight this season, which is incredible. You just don't see that. Teams don't do that with relievers, but he's just ready to. Is he on a deal?
Yeah.
He is, right? Okay.
Yes.
That helps out a lot. I love the notes here after the first game. Stephen Kwan slumping, Josh Naylor slumping, Jose Ramirez slumping, and then the next game it's like Homer, RBI out of the slump.
Emmanuel Class A, 4.9 mil next year, 6.4 the year after that, and then 2 $10 million team options. He's
okay.
Good. Hey, Trev, let me kick to you on my Yanks, because I don't think we have an Aaron Judge segment lined up. A little crazy. But he is an absolute monster, literally, figuratively. His OPS is a 1.2 now on the year. It's unreal to watch. They put up 5 homers in that final game. I don't know. Judge to me is the story because he's now on pace for 63 again, Trev.
I love it. First of all, did I make a bet? Was this with the Padres or the Yankees where I said, how many back-to-backs are we going to get this year?
It was the Padres last year with Soto, Tatis.
Did I do it this year again? I feel like I did with the Yankees.
I hope not, because the number you originally threw out with the Padres was like unfathomable. It's like
I think I said like
3.
And I don't think that happened. Way to go. I've been part of a back-to-back, Jake, at Yankee Stadium. How about that?
Dozier.
Name the guys I did it with.
It was Dozier. It was Morny. Who split you up?
It was Doge.
Right.
It was me.
Yep.
And Z German.
Whoa, young Kep, huh?
Yeah.
Oh, wow.
Nathan Eovaldi, I think, gave up all of them.
Ooh.
What's up?
God. The fact we didn't get Brian Dozier playing during Doja Cat time, I mean, that's just it. frustrates me every day.
He can dance a little bit too. I would like to see it. That.
Oh, I know.
What am I supposed to talk about? The Yankees?
I don't know.
Know,
like again, it's one of those weird things. Did Talkin' Yanks last night. We talked about it for an hour. You know, some people, oh, Yankee fan, brr, brr, brr. It's chasing the AL home run record again that he set of the non-steroid guys. No one is currently having a season like he's had.
No. I mean, I don't have anything on it except I believe they should be cutting to every single at bat of his right now. I mean, he literally is chasing history. It's nuts, man. He's so freaking locked in right now. Every single stat that comes out is like him, Barry Bonds, and Ted Williams. I'm like, okay,
yeah,
that's a nice group to be lumped with. He became the 5th player, Babe Ruth, Mark McGwire, Sammy Sosa, and Alex Rodriguez with 3 different 50-homer seasons. Like this, like shit like that is incredible, dude.
I'll give the people one butter knife before we go. In the last 95 games, most of the season, right? 95 games. 383 batting average. This isn't 2 weeks. This isn't a month.
I know the OBP is over 500. I know that.
383. That's, we're talking Tony Gwynn, George Brett, like 512 on base. Sure. Flip the coin, most likely, yes. 865 slugging. That's a 1.377 OPS. This is over 95 games, May 4th to August 25th. He had a slow-ish start. We haven't seen this.
I know Aaron Judge would never do this because he's classy.
Right.
But I wish whoever runs his social media accounts, I wish or I hope that they were like screenshotting in April all the people like, this guy's washed. Because they were saying that. I know Yankee fans.
There were tweets.
Did you have any? You need to go back and start deleting if you
Get
did,
in there.
Okay?
No. I mean, by the way, his slow April was like a 783 OPS. So it's not like
770.
Not like he
like
fell
770.
Off, for normal humans, that's a great month.
Yes. He's not normal, Jake. Don't put him in that category, bro.
Baseball's a special sport, man.
How could
Aaron Judge had a 717 OPS in April. Since then.
How about our Derek Jeter discussion on the side this weekend?
Don't. You have some hate in your heart for...
No, I don't.
You need to talk to a therapist.
That is not true, dude.
Better
I
help.
Respect DJ immensely.
You do.
I do. We can't have a discussion about
Is jealousy the right word?
Probably.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Trev, a massive American league. The Brewers took 2 out of 3 from Oakland. Scheduled tweet. The Blue Jays sweep 4. We're happy for them. And the Tigers, hey, for some of these teams we're giving conversations to, if the Tigers win today, they're at 500.
Go Tigers, go. Matt Vierling, my guy. More on Matt Vierling later.
No. Come on.
Yeah.
No.
At least a quick mention. I promise he's coming back, guys.
We're not joking about AG1.
Hold on, before you get into this, just go look what happened the first 2 games. Matt Vierling, 2 for 4, 2 runs driven in. Matt Vierling, 2 for 3, a double and a homer. That's what I'm talking about.
AG1 is a foundational nutrient supplement that delivers daily nutrients and gut health support and is backed by multiple research studies so you can trust what you're putting in your body. In a research study, AG1 was shown to double the amount of healthy bacteria in the gut. These healthy bacteria work together to break down food, are known to alleviate bloating, promote digestive regularity, and aid in digestive comfort. AG1, they've been floating around with us for a while now. And every now and then, mix one in. Feel good about yourself. I should probably do it more. Maybe I will, especially when AG1 is giving away a free 1-year supply of vitamin D3, K2, and 5 free AG1 travel packs with your first purchase at drinkag1.com/baseball. That's drinkag1.com/baseball. There's a link in the description. It's a tight NL, man. I mean, Mets and Padres played 4, split them. You were all over San Diego. You're a San Diego man. Joe Musgrove, 7 innings, 1 hit ball, 0 walks, 9 Ks. In the words of Trevor Plouffe, yum. And then on the final day, Jackson Merrill walk-off, Orsillo on the call. It's always electric. The other games, go Mets go. Frankie Lindor, 2 homers. David Peterson has been incredible for them. And that offense went off in the first game as they put up 8 runs. We're splitting 4. Don't know what you want to hear. Dodgers. They take 2 out of 3 from the Rays. And my goodness, Shohei Ohtani, the 40-40 walk-off. This guy, the him and Judge conversations, it doesn't get any better. Or better than Gavin Stone. 7 innings, 1 Ernie. That Rays, they win the middle game. They come back in the 9th. Junior Caminero. Is he here? Is he him? Big boy homer. And the Rays win that 1 in 10. Only game they got in the series. Pirates and Reds played 4 in the Storielli Bowl. And the Pirates, they take 3 out of 4. They win a Skeens Day because he goes 6 shutout. Good for him. Bryan De La Cruz, when he runs into it, my goodness. How about Yasmani Grandal with the walk-off 2-run homer? And you know what he said, Trev? Whenever his son tells him to homer, he homers. Well, I'd hate to give too much of a game plan, but maybe more of that. Reds won behind Julian Aguilar. Don't have the scouting report. Ellie De La Cruz had a big game at the office. The Braves took 2 out of 3 from the Nationals. Chris Sale kind of gets outpitched by Mackenzie Gore, but the Braves went on a walk-off C.J. Abrams throwing error. We've talked about him on this show before. Nats, they win that final game. Your guy DJ Hurst, 5 innings, shutout, outpitches Reynaldo Lopez. And the Cubs-Marlins series, Cubs take 2 out of 3. They're in that light part of their schedule. They can't get the sweep on the final day. Connor Norby, big part of that Trevor Rogers trade. Leadoff ding-dong. Adam Holler Adam, big start. Seiya Suzuki was everywhere. Ian Happ's always everywhere. Our guy PCA, 14 seconds getting around the bases. Yo. And a little mishap on the intentional walk. Hey, that's what happened. That's what happened in the National League. We've done all of it. Not the standings.
PCA, Tulum.
You should have seen it. You should have seen us.
It was a movie. Do you want the standings, Pop?
Every day.
It's Monday. We're starting out east, where the Phillies have a 6-game lead. It sounds like a lot, but it was a lot more not too long ago. 76-54. That lead is over. The Atlanta Braves, are they going to make a run for it? 70-60. My Mets, 68-63. Then that's the Nats at 59-72, and the Marlins, 47-83. We'll go out west where the Dodgers, their lead is 3 games. They're 78-53. Those Diamondbacks just don't lose. They do not lose. That's going to be so fun to watch come September. Can the Diamondbacks run the Dodgers down? They're 75-56. Padres, 4.5 games back of the Dodgers. They're 74-58. And then the Giants, 66-66. And Colorado, 48-83. And then in the Central, a commanding 10-game Johnny for the Brewers, 75-55. As you mentioned, we got the Cardinals right at 500, 65-65. Cubs, 65-66. And then Cincy, 63-68, and Pittsburgh, 62-68. The most mid-division you're ever going to find. In the wild card, right now, as we have it, it's the NL West running things. Padres have the first spot, a game and a half above. The Diamondbacks have the first spot, a game and a half above the Padres, and then Atlanta is holding a 2.5 game lead for the third wild card spot over the Mets. After that, Cardinals, are you going to get a mention at 5 games back? Maybe. Giants also 5 games back as well. And those are the standings in the National League. I guess we'll do this again because I did this for the AO. How about that? Before I stop,
Yeah.
right now, it would be Milwaukee hosting the Braves, the Hank Aaron Bowl, and then it would be the Diamondbacks hosting the Padres, which would be electric. Those would be awesome wild card matchups. And those are the standings in the National League.
Thank you, Trev. Yeah, no shuffle in the NL this week. Fun to track going forward, but the Snakes, I mean, what they continue to do. I saw a tweet. I don't know, interesting thought exercise of sorts. I think it was from Jay Hay on Twitter, but he was like, the Orioles and the Diamondbacks basically have the same record, and we ooze and ahs about the Orioles' young core and everything they are. The Diamondbacks went to the World Series last year, have been playing phenomenal baseball for months, and I don't know. There's still like a little bit of lack of respect for the Snakes, and I think that probably ties into being in the same division as the Dodgers, or maybe there's just too many NL powers. I don't know. They deserve the respect because they 6 in a row, and they just are rolling over teams. Magnificent standings, Trevor. Let's start with your Mets in San Diego. Run. You said you're the San Diego man. You live there.
I basically lived there this week. I always knew San Diego was a great city. I mean, the weather's amazing. The beaches, kind of like just the feel of the city. It's a city, but it's also a beach town, which I think is really cool. Because if you go to beach towns around Los Angeles, you just understand how much slower the pace of living is. Or go to a beach town anywhere, that's just how it is. But there's also a nice metropolis there. There's colleges. It kind of has a little bit of everything. So shout out to the city of San Diego, number one. Number two, this was a great series. I love this matchup. Two feisty teams, if you will. Francisco Lindor coming up huge for the Mets defensively, has the grand slam. I mean, he's awesome. I got to take my youth team there. So I started off with the Twin series, then I took my youth team down there. They're the Padres, and in LA they wear their Padres gear and just get shit talked to them. We said the S word a lot today. I apologize for that. But we brought it down to San Diego and everyone's just loving it. These boys had energy from the get-go, dude. Walking over to the stadium, they're doing "Let's Go Padres" chants. Anyways, talked to Lindor before the game. We took him down to batting practice. Talked to Lindor before the game. He's obviously just cheery as ever, doing his thing. But he's going out. But I told you this was gonna be a Padres episode. And I think it should be, because I think that the Padres, especially with Musgrove back and kind of doing what he's doing, lengthening their rotation, the bullpen that they have, I think we talked about at the trade deadline, how, okay, they fortified it. I'm putting it up there with the best bullpens in the league. I'm putting it up there with Cleveland. I'm putting it up there with Milwaukee. Kind of like more on that a little bit later. Like we're still going to talk Padres, but they have a little bit of everything. They have, guys that can mash the ball out of the ballpark in the lineup. They also have the clutch hitting god and Jackson Merrill
and Profar.
Yeah, no,
both
you're right.
Nuts.
Totally right. You gotta include Profar in that discussion. Machado, just kind of like the veteran, and I got a chance to go into the clubhouse the day I took the kids to to BP. It was an optional batting practice. So I was like, all right, I got to go in there and maybe just like pull some guys out to come sign some autographs. I talk about the Phillies vibe and the camaraderie they have. Everyone is loving it in that clubhouse right now. My guy Tyler Wade, your doppelganger, mentioning just how close everyone is and how everyone's pulling for each other. It's an excellent vibe, and I think it's showing up on the field. Like, you have to have that to have these comebacks, and I just feel like, I don't know the last time I felt this about a team. Like, they're just never out of it, even like depending the score. It feels like the Padres are never out of it. The crowd's in it. I mean, I saw a Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday series with the Twins, and they were nuts. And then this this weekend against the Mets. It's everything is kind of going right down there in San Diego. So they get the series split here. I know they probably wanted a little bit more, but the Mets are playing pretty good baseball as well. I just thought they're a team like lurking in the shadows, like ready to just run it, similar to the way the Diamondbacks did it last year. They're amazing.
Well, Trev, that's where the NL becomes just a tasty conversation, because you mentioned what the wild cards would currently be, and the Snakes hosting the Padres for 3, one of their seasons just out. And then the Brewers hosting the Braves for 3, one of their seasons just out. So it's this 3-game wild card's pretty sick. It's going to be interesting to see if those moving pieces, like, can the Padres catch the D-backs, and then are they hosting them in that beautiful San Diego stadium, or Silo on the call, just an electric factory of a place. And again, another one of those franchises you point at and you say, hey, we need more of this in baseball. Like, they've kind of taken over that city, and they had an owner that went for it and got so many guys that it's like, hey, it feels like there's a formula here that more of baseball can be doing. So I'm glad you've been enjoying your time in San Diego. And for the Mets, they've last 28 games, I think they're 2 games under 500. So as they are the closest team looking in right now in either wild card picture, they're 2.5 out. They got to find some of the good sauce. And like you said, dude, Lindor's bringing that every day. The talk on the broadcaster that he's going to be third in NL MVP votes right now. I wouldn't be shocked if he keeps playing like this with his WAR.
I think he'll get some MVP 1 votes. I think.
I don't know about 1.
I think he might skip over Marte as well.
I don't know about 1.
I know. Obviously, I'm wearing the shirt, bro.
I don't know about 1.
I'm wearing the shirt. He leads the NL in WAR. People like that stat, Jake. I'm just saying.
People do like that. Yeah, okay. Start winning some more games.
Winker, what's up, man? I love me some Wink piece, dude. He's the one guy I didn't get to say what's up to. I said hi to every single other person. I didn't get to see Wink.
That might have been intentional. After
maybe he's I don't think he likes me at all.
The scooter thing. Hey, Mets, try to survive the Snakes in the desert. Then they get the White Sox. So I don't know. I want to talk more Mets. You got to believe. I don't know if anyone's really believing right now, but you got to believe. Can we talk about Shohei just a little bit? 40-40, Grand Slam, August.
Is he okay, by the way?
He's better than okay.
No, he got hit in the wrist yesterday. Do we have any reports on that?
That's fine. We'll get on.
Probably not going to get anything until later today, but he's incredible, man. Like it almost seems like it's scripted with him. I mean, to be the fastest player to reach 40-40 and doing it with the freaking granny.
Walk off granny.
It's insane. And just to bring it out, around for talking baseball fans, we're all connected to this. You want to know why?
Here we go.
My guy, Tony, who was a big Minnesota Twins fan while I was there. I've kept in contact with him via social media. He's not a ball hawk, but he goes to games and he knows where to position himself to catch some homers. He likes to do that. He's a little bit of a ball hawk, but a nice guy. And he's kind of on a tour. Where did I see him? That he said he was going to be doing a California tour. I don't know. I saw him somewhere. He told me he's going to do a California tour. And so he's making his way, up and down Oakland. Anyway, he ends up at the Dodger game. And if you watch the video of Shohei's walk-off, the 40-40 ball, he's there. He's got the glove up and goes like this.
Oh.
Hits off the heel of the glove, falls back into the field of play. Starling Marte. No, who was? Not Starling Marte. Who am I talking about?
Siri.
Jose Siri takes the ball, just tosses it back up in the stands. Somebody else gets it. But he had a chance to catch Shohei's 40-40 ball. Lord knows what that's worth. Here he is. He has a teal glove on.
Oh, yeah.
It's right in there. So here's the thing. Here's the kicker. This I want to really bring it home for us. I was big, he was a big supporter of mine. So as I'm leaving Target Field one day at the end of the year, I had a Mike Moustakas third base glove that I used when I first started playing third. Then I eventually switched over, had my own glove, and I gave him my Mike Moustakas glove as like a token of my appreciation. I saw him in San Diego when the Twins were playing. He showed me that he had the glove. He did not wear that glove to catch that ball. He wore some other turquoise glove. Bro, put the black Rawlings leather on. You make that catch. You got a history.
Had the glove.
He zooed it.
Damn.
Unbelievable. Anyway, Shohei's pretty good, huh?
That was something. Yeah. 40-40 walk-off grand slam in August.
You think he's going to be unanimous? Like 50-50, he's going to be unanimous, right? I think the record is 43-43. No one's ever done before.
This is tough because you just threw out the war wrench of Lindor potentially. I would say no. I think someone this isn't in a rude way. I just think people get obnoxious, and there's some beat reporter that's like, well, he DHs. Lindor's in the field.
You know who that person is? Katie Wu.
Oh, that was my Katie Wu impression. So
what? Do it again?
It's not Shohei doesn't play the field.
Come on, Katie.
It's a weird accent. Is she from the Bay? What was that? East Coast? Gavin Stone, really good, warehouse adjacent. On the Rays end, everyone learned the name Junior Caminero.
Yeah.
He, top 5 prospect, special guy. He ties it up with a home run in the 9th inning, and they go on to win that one game. I forget. I was watching MLB Network on Saturday night, and they were just bopping game to game. Albert Pujols in studio. I might have sent a text to the chat that, I don't know, $365 million in my basement. I don't know if I'm doing MLB Tonight on a Saturday night. If I'm Albert, I'm happy for the game that we get that. And yeah, Caminero homered, and Albert was just like, he does that. It's like, okay, if Albert Pujols gives you the ringing endorsement on that.
What would you be doing?
If I was Albert Pujols, I would be on an island with some Corona extras, some light island music that I don't even know who makes the music, but I just like the noises that I'm hearing.
I go there too. I have a massive boat.
Ooh.
And like I captain it like 4% of the time.
Oh, okay.
Then I have a captain, obviously.
I would be the boat guy that would have the boat, and it would just never leave the dock. But I would still party there.
Or just the bay. You take it around the bay a little bit?
No, I'm just at the dock partying. And they're like, oh, another boat day? It's like, kinda. Basically just a porch.
I want like the boats that like you off the back end, you have like your little dinghy, and then you have your jet skis, then you have like the big trampoline. I want all the toys. Maybe a helicopter pad. I don't know.
Yeah,
Albert Pujols could do that. That's what we're saying.
Albert Pujols can do that. We cannot.
I don't sail boats, Penny. I land on them.
Oh, God. Top Gun Trev. Trev, the AL was a beast. If you want Pirates, Reds, Braves, Nats, Cubs, Marlins, knock your socks off.
You're asking me?
Yeah.
You mentioned Yasmani Grandal's walk-off, Alexis Diaz. The Diaz brothers love to just point at homers. Like, what's up with that?
And they both
Did someone tell them to do that when they were younger or something?
They both got this weekend. Edwin and
I don't
Alexis. Tough.
If you're a pitcher, let me just tell you something. Don't ever, if you're a youth pitcher, just don't do it. Do you think the outfielder's looking at you? to know where the ball is? He's not.
Trev.
Like, never in the history of baseball has an outfielder looked at the pitcher and said, "Oh, there's the ball. Thanks for pointing." Just don't do it. That's all I have to say.
That is weird.
It is weird. A lot of pitchers do it. I'm not just putting on the Diaz brother.
No, it's just an interesting thought exercise because for years, again, we're familiar with the Yankees. They used to kangaroo court it. If you're a pitcher and you did that and it was a home run, you got fined. You got in trouble. Pitchers should never have to do that.
Just never do it.
Every player on the field is tracking the ball.
Yeah. No one's looking at you. That's the problem.
Wow.
You know, there's that like theory, like everyone thinks they're the main character.
Yeah.
I mean, pitchers really think that.
Baseball wants them to be. 6 innings.
Disgusting. Some silly stuff in the Cubs Marlins series. If you haven't watched it, the intentional walk. Who was it that didn't touch first base?
It was
Jesus Sanchez.
Sanchez, yes.
That's kind of on my guy John Jay. They bring in a pinch runner. Jesus Sanchez never goes and touches first base. Craig Counsell sees it right away and it's like, hey, he like tries not to be like, oh, I didn't see that, I swear. Then goes out. He ends up being out. Patty Wisdom gets tossed for throwing the helmet. Connor Norby, I think this needs to be talked about, right?
Sure.
Prospect of the Orioles goes over for Trevor Rogers. Trevor Rogers is now in AAA. So, like, snaps for the Marlins, I guess?
It's early. It's very
He's going to
early.
work on some stuff. I'm sure he'll be back in September, but it's interesting.
Hey, Cubs have won their past 3 series. This is the light part of the schedule. If not now, then they've got Pirates, Nats, Pirates coming up. Give me 7 out of 9, Cubs. I'll think about something.
5.5 back can get to 2.5 back very quickly.
2.5 back. Braves, you got something coming in a minute. Can we get to standout performances?
Standout performance.
Speaking of main character energy, Trev, where are you going? Jake Rogers?
I forgot where I was going.
Great. Oh, you had a write-in.
Eugenio Suarez.
Okay.
Are you going him?
I'll let the people know. You wanted Yiner.
I switched Yiner, though.
Right.
Into a different category that we're going to get to soon.
Okay.
I want to take Eugenio.
Take him, please. I love him.
He had a couple different games. You could have picked from Friday when he went 3 for 5 with a homer, 5 runs driven in, 3 runs scored. That would have been nice. Or how about Sunday when he went 4 for 4 with a homer and 3 runs driven in, 2 runs scored as the D-backs get the sweep? I mean, again, you just keep stacking up players in their lineup that can extend it. Eugenio Suarez, if you count 2020, Jake, which we all try to forget about that year. Although, you know what, man? I had such a fun year during COVID because everyone was at home. But for the most part, not great.
Not great.
He had 15 homers that year in 60 games. So I'm going to give him 20 on the season. If you do that, 9 straight years of 20-plus homers for Eugenio. He hit his 20th yesterday. So, snaps for him, man. He's been in the game for a long time. The guy can hit, and he's got good hair. Eugenio Suarez.
Last 46 games, and I should say before this, Eugenio really struggled. They were debating, do we need to bench this guy? Do we need to trade this guy? Last 46 games, the team is 34-12. Hello. Eugenio, 309, 358, a 992 OPS. That's coming up on 2 months. Not a lot of guys that can do that while playing a pretty slick third base. And yeah, his numbers are in line with his kind of career numbers. And this was Mariners fans. I know there's been a lot of questions, and I know last year I wouldn't say he was special offensively for you, but last year felt like a down year for him with his 22 home runs and a 103 OPS plus. He's currently above those numbers, and it doesn't seem like he's slowing down. So I'm interested to see where he lands at the end of the year. Dude, 266 career homers, man. That's like That's a special area. Like, I know we get lost in, we're talking Judge and Ohtani to start this show, to start it. 266 home runs, man. That's
785 OPS. The on-base percentage is always going to hold his OPS back, just because of the low walk percentage and high strikeout percentage. But yeah, I mean, the other numbers are awesome. He's got 1,200 hits already. He'll get to 300 homers, I'm assuming, because he hits 20 every single year. So just play for 2 more years. If he gets to 1,000 runs driven in, that would be something. Got a ways to go for that. He's got 191 to go. But 785 OPS, man. That's a solid to good. I would say I'd put it in the good range. You're a good big league hitter.
he's good.
Yeah.
He's good.
Career salary, career earnings. Do you want to try?
One decent contract, right? Give me that 49 homer season. That's got to lead to some money. 90 mil.
I was going to go right around there too.
Oh, you don't
I'll
know.
take the under and I'll put it at 85.
65. With a 15 mil team option for next year.
Okay, so 2 million on top of that guaranteed. So you get to 67, possibly get to 80.
He continues like this, it's 80 easy. They'll pick up that option.
I'm like that for him. That's a lot of money, man.
I think pick up the option. It's at 80.
It's a lot of coin. Trev, I'm going to bring this full circle, and I'm going to give my standout to Bryan Woo. You mentioned Katie Woo. I mentioned Eugenio played with the Mariners last year. Bryan Woo currently plays with the Mariners. Lowest ERA in franchise history through the first 16 starts. With his 7 innings pitched, 1 earned run, 7 strikeouts on Sunday. Second best ERA in the major leagues of guys who've thrown 85 innings. He hasn't made every start this year. Only Reynaldo Lopez ahead of him. Pitch into the 7th inning in 5 straight starts, a 1.59 ERA in that time period. It's an abundance of riches. Hey, maybe Dan Wilson's Mariners are going to be different. Maybe they're going to reel off that big win streak like you talked about, and they're going to chase down the Astros or the wild card or whatever it is. Again, for me, it's wild to see the Mariners' number 1 ERA, number 1 WHIP for starting pitching. This is the guy that was their 5th guy coming into the year. Might still be. Happy for Bryan Woo, an early Talkin baseball legend as well.
Yeah, he's everything you want. When you're playing defense and you have a starter on the mound, he's everything that you want. 99th percentile in walk percentage. Guy doesn't walk anybody. Hard hit percentage, 90th percentile. Barrel percentage, 98th percentile. So he doesn't walk anybody. He's inducing soft contact. So it means he's working quickly as well. And he's doing it by throwing mainly heaters, 75% between his 4-seam and his sinker. Like, come and get it. Shout out Cal Poly. Stand up, Bryan Woo.
He, man. Seattle, maybe in the offseason, trade one of those guys. Trev, can we get to some Corona Extra and Fuego? Best part.
Dirt nasties on Fuego. That means I'm on fire, baby. Like Waco.
Kind of mentioned these first 2 guys already, but I'm going to go through them again because they bear mentioning. Eugenio Suarez in the 3 games went 8 for 13, 2 homers, 10 runs driven in. That's the most in a series in his career. He leads Major League Baseball with 47 runs driven in since July 1st. No other player in the NL even has 40 over that span. So shout out Gino for doing his thing. I mentioned Connor Norby, traded for Trevor Rogers from the Orioles. 3-game series for Chicago, 5 for 11, 2 doubles, 2 homers, 5 runs scored. He recorded his first career leadoff homer on Sunday. He hit a homer in consecutive games for the first time in his career. And he has extra base hits in, Jake, his first 6 games since being called up from AAA on Monday, setting a new Marlins record. How about our guy Colt Keith? He was supposed to be AL Rookie of the Year. 6 for 13 in the series. And they have the fourth game today, as we mentioned. But he already has 7 runs driven in to go with a double and a homer and 2 walks in the series. He has a chance to add on to that. That'd be nice. So shout out Cole Keith. For the week, Miguel Amaya, catcher for the Cubs, a double, 2 homers, 7 runs driven in. He went 8 for 16. He only played in 5 games during this span, so that makes it even more impressive. How about Joey Loperfido? No one's ever seen you and him in the same room.
Oh.
8 for 20, 3 doubles, 2 triples, a homer, 3 runs driven in. He had his 4-game streak of recruiting multiple hits per game snapped on Sunday. Before the streak, Loperfido had never recorded consecutive multi-hit games. So he's on a little bit of a heater there, and that's why he's on this portion of the episode. Arizona, I talked about the length in their lineup. How about Perdomo for them, the shortstop? Geraldo went 9 for 24, 3 doubles, 2 homers, 5 runs driven in, 2 stolen bases, 3 walks in the week. So add him to that lineup that has the best record in the NL since when? I don't know. They're crushing it. This guy was going to be my Corona Extra Player of the F until I pivoted. So I am sorry. Jackenzie Noel. You got me with the Christmas joke early on. I didn't get it at first. Noel. Nice pop. Catholic school my entire way up right here. Okay. 12 for 36 over the last 2 weeks. 2 doubles, 6 home runs, 11 runs driven in, 11 runs scored. He hit his 12th homer since his June 26th debut, matching Russell Branyan.
Oh.
That's your guy, Jake.
Oh.
For the most by a Cleveland player in his first 41 games. He has the second best ratio of ABs to homers in 24, minimum 100 ABs at 9.33. The only one better, you guessed it, Aaron Judge with a homer rate of 9. So he went off. He was supposed to be my guy. He's not. More on that later. How about Pablo Lopez? Need this if you're the Twins, big time, as you're running out 3 rookies in your starting rotation right now. Last 3 games started, 19 innings pitched, only 16 hits, only 2 earned runs, 17 Ks to 4 walks. On Saturday, Pablo threw 7 plus scoreless innings for the first time since his 8 scoreless innings on June 23rd. He has a 2.25 in 7 starts since the All-Star break, 4th best in the AL. Let's go, Pablo. He had 21 whiffs, the most in a start this season. That is huge for him. Sweeper was sweeping. Let's go, Pablo. And then, speaking of Pittsburgh and those Pirates, Dennis Santana, what up, dog? 5 games in the 2 weeks, 7 2/3 innings pitched, only 1 hit, no earned runs, no walks, 10 Ks. That's a 0 ERA and a .13 whip. And now I'm raw dogging this one, not on the sheet. For the Corona Extra Player of the Ep, I am going our guy, Yainer Diaz. Massive homer last night against the Orioles. Didn't even really get to see it in real time because they were still showing Bregman in the dugout. And then all of a sudden you hear this like a bomb went off. I believe they said it was 448. Left center in Baltimore. The thing was an absolute rocket. You know I love my 27-degree launch angles. Yeah. That's what I want, people. Anyways, Yainer's been going off for quite some time. He's been on in Fuego, but I don't think he's ever been the Corona Extra player yet, so I wanted to give him this. So Jake, June 18th is when the Houston Astros were 10 games back of first place. Their low point of the season was June 18th. And now they're 4.5 games up. We all know the story. Yainer started to go in June. From the beginning of June till present day, June 3rd through August 25th, my people, 338 batting average, 361 OBP, 537 slug for the 898 OPS. He got 13 homers in that span, 49 runs driven in. He's just, I say it all the time, if you have a catcher that performs offensively like this, it's a cheat code. And if you butter knife those stats a little bit, since June 1st up until now, he's got the best WAR of any catcher in all of baseball. 2.6 F-WAR, above Cal Raleigh, above Tyler Stevenson, shout out, above Patrick Bailey, William Contreras, Adley Rushman. Yainer's been that guy. So shout out Yainer Diaz for all that you do on the field. You are our Corona Extra Player of the Ep.
think Framber had some numbers connected to when Yiner came back too. Corona Extra, big home run or small ball. The clue for the Storielli. Having a Corona Extra at the game, watching the game, whenever, on that island with Albert. It's Corona Extra. So go get yours. Order Corona.com. 21 plus. Order Corona.com. Corona Extra beer imported by Crown Imports. Congrats, Yiner. Good Colt Keith split. 45 games. 316, 371, and 892 OPS. Yo. Young, from a young infielder with a great name. Tigers are 27 and 18 in that. Watch out. Good Yiner shout out. Houston full here. Just a reminder, everyone. Feel like we're still not acting that way. AL favorites.
Okay.
Have to be. Trev, great in Fuego. Connor Norby. Ugh. The IL. Unfortunately, we do have some updates here. Too many out, not enough in. Javi Baez for those same Tigers. Hugh Darvish from the restricted list to the IL. Okay. Andrew Abbott for them Reds. The Wilson Contreras one, tough to watch. He gets hit in the hand again. Our guy Hunter Renfroe, after having a good game, he goes on the IL. Nick Mears had been really good out of that Milwaukee bullpen. Coming back. So, hey, this list is actually small on both sides, unfortunately. Fortunately. Jazz Chisholm is back for the New York Yankees, playing third base. Austin Hayes back for the Phillies. And Ranger Suarez, who was the best pitcher in baseball for a few months, he's back, and he had a nice outing. So, a couple big boys back. I'm okay. We made it through that all right. And now we need the person who starts off our week here at Talkin' Baseball.
Awards!
It's brought to you by the John Boy merch store. Go get yourself some. Shop.johnboymedia.com. Trev's wearing an Ohtani shirt. I've got a generic, nice little John Boy Media shirt. Become part of my every week rotation. We have something for your team. We have something from John Boy Media if you like supporting us. Go check it out. There's so much stuff on there. We hired a guy, Patrick, who's running it now. He's great. So,
I got to talk to Patrick.
Go talk to Patrick after you give your award.
Jake, thank you. My award is called the You Heard It Here First Award. I probably should have a better name for it, but this is a relatable award. Okay. Everybody knows someone, or maybe you're that person. I think we all have probably been that person throughout times in our life where you get onto something early before anybody else knows about this thing. Most of the time it's like a band, and those people are really obnoxious. Yeah, I knew about them early on. Sometimes it's like a TV show. Maybe it's like an actor or actress. Oh, this person's great. Like he's going to be great. I had my kind of example. It's not really a good one. I try not to be that person. But Bone Thugs and Harmony. I don't really know how I got into them. I think my brother just liked them. So I was like 8 or 9 rocking out with Creeping on a Come Up and East 99 and then Art of War. They were never on the radio because there's so many curse words. But then they got put in the Batman soundtrack, Look Into My Eyes, and then all of a sudden they had a single on the radio. I used to listen to Power 106, and it was Body Rot. Now again, a ton of curse words, so they couldn't really play the real songs. It didn't really sound that good, but people would love that song. So there used to be a Power 106 where you would call in. It was like the song of the week or whatever, and you'd have to call in, and I would call in every day, using an actual phone, and vote for it because that way they'd play it on the radio, and it won all these weeks in a row. Then people started liking Bone Thugs. I was like, hey man, I've been liking them for quite some time, So that's my example of it. Everybody knows something like that. Do you have an example of when you were early on something?
So I'm not really, because I've never been a music guy. That's the easiest lane. I mean,
don't you like Riz or something like that?
Rez, the cult of Rez. Some people know. I mean, it's sports for me, and like I almost gave a similar holiday award to Jackson Merrill last week. So sports is my lane on it. I had a buddy that was so hot to trot on finding Fallout Boy first, that they were so locked in on that.
Like, they're not the same anymore.
Yeah. Oh, they were out like after their like first hit.
Why do people do that? Like, oh, I like them when they're not popular, but then you're like, they're good, so they get popular, and then you're out on them?
I've always faded that.
I don't like that. Like, I'm happy for them.
I like popular things.
It's okay to like popular things. Music, that's the worst. Like, oh, they're too popular now? What? I never understood that. Anyways, I'm about to give you guys my guy. My you heard it here first guy. And again, it's a San Diego Padre.
Okay.
Now I'm perusing around. Like, my team they corral my youth team in like this little section on BP, but I have my credentials. So I'm walking in the dugout. I'm walking around clubhouse, all these things. And then I see this giant come up, and he starts signing for the kids. And kind of turns around and says, "What's up?" to me. And we start having this conversation. And I tell him, I said, "Hey man, look, I saw you against the Twins. Like, you were lights out. Like, holy crap, like your guys' bullpen is unbelievable." And so we start talking. This guy starts giving me his whole story. Says, "Hey, I've never seen someone so fired up about being at the yard. The young kid, very excited. Again, this guy's a giant. He's 6'8". Just looking down on me, I felt like I don't like that feeling, man. But he, like, whatever. I was having a great conversation with this guy. Drafted by the Marlins. Okay. As a first baseman. Big, tall hitter. Big first baseman. He goes, I was always very confident in myself. And then, I got to spring training, and it was the first time I ever felt like I didn't know what I was doing on the baseball field. You hear that a lot from people with their first experience in pro ball hitting. It's very difficult, very different than high school ball or college ball. It's just different. He said, this guy tried to change my swing right away. I just didn't feel great at all. He was surprised that he wasn't taken as a pitcher. Had him as a first baseman. I think he was trying to do a two-way thing for a while. Didn't work out. Anyways, ends up getting converted over into a reliever after a few seasons. Didn't work out for him. 600 OPS career in the minor leagues. Gets converted over. So the first time he stepped on the mound, 96 miles an hour from a 6'8" guy. Okay, that's going to turn some heads. Then he gets called up. Has some good seasons. Gets called up by the Marlins, Jake. 3 games. Sits in the bullpen. Does not get in a game. Again, we're talking about the Marlins here. All this isn't too surprising with what's going on in their organization. Ends up getting traded over to San Diego last year for Ryan Weathers. Now, the guy I'm talking about, if you haven't guessed already, and you heard it here first, Sean Reynolds, relief pitcher for the San Diego Padres, 6'8", 250. This guy is a freaking tank. Redondo Beach, so a native of Southern California. Throws absolute fuel. Gets traded over to the Padres last year at the deadline. Doesn't make a debut for them last year. Makes his debut, actual pitching debut, this year. 26 years old. This guy's an absolute beast. Jake, so far, 8 1/3 innings pitched, 1 run, 14 Ks. Now, you're like, okay, dude, go look at his Savant page. Obviously, he's not qualified for it. He throws 97 miles an hour. He's got a slider. He's got a changeup. It's dripping red. As soon as he qualifies, this guy's going to be a big deal. So I want you guys to understand. You heard it here first. As good as that bullpen is, and you got 6 dudes. You got Jason Adam, Tanner Scott, Suarez. The list goes on in that bullpen. This guy right here, Sean Reynolds, who told me he sits at home and can't wait to get to the field. He goes, I have to check myself. He is like, I'm always like, oh shoot, I'm gonna get there too early. I can't do that. Like he wants to be at the field. He says he loves it so much. He goes, I'll never lose that adrenaline. I said, you might lose that adrenaline, bro. Just FYI. This is the guy. I want you guys to remember who told you about him first. My guy, Sean Reynolds, the You Heard It Here First award. This guy he might be the next closer somewhere. He's going to be a big part of San Diego's future, if not the end of this season. He's an absolute stud. So I wanted to give him a shout out. Again, just the attitude, the story, all the things added up. As I got to talk about this guy and talking baseball.
Wow. I mean, that could have been its own podcast. That was there's 3 stories in a story, and I'm glad where it landed. Cali boy, tall boy, hitter turned pitcher, 8.1 innings pitched, 14 strikeouts this year. Whatever numbers you like from a pitcher, he currently has them. And Trev, I thought about coming at you a little bit. You mentioned Sean Reynolds last episode. This has been a huge Padres day for you. Maybe a little jab back at you. I just had a flashback last year. You told me about a guy, a center fielder, who could go and get it with the best of them, who was going to make a big catch in the postseason. It was Johan Rojas for Philadelphia, and boy, did he ever. Into the wall, one of the moments of last year's postseason. And, hey, everything you're saying about team formulas, and there's usually a guy or two that come October takes the leap. If this guy comes in for an inning and strikes out 2 or 3, so what? The next time they need that, they're going to go to that guy. The rules get thrown out come October that that is the exact example of a guy that this October we'll probably see in a big moment. And you like him, so I like that.
My guy, this is an award that we're at to wait and see. And at the end of the September, you're like, oh yeah, do you remember he gave him that award?
That's right. Trev said that. I'm going with the guy I like too. The people know how much I like this guy. I'm giving him the Everyday Daddy Award. And I think he announced he was having a kid this year. Matt Olson. I know Braves fans are probably an interesting spot with Matty, whose numbers are down for Matt Olson. He's been a above league average hitter. He hit a ball yesterday that's just as pretty of a home run as you can hit. I know he hasn't been what the Braves fans wanted him to be after a 50-plus homer season last year. And hey, in his down season, he's got 22 dingers. So if he has a good final month, his bad season could still be 30 homers. He's playing 454 consecutive games at first base. And okay, I realize Cal Ripken might have just broken everyone's brains for that one. That's a record that's never being broken. That's just it. It is what it is. It's the second longest streak of games played at first base by any major leaguer over the past 80 seasons, behind only Pete Rose at first base. So that's, I don't know. When we do our all JM, we like to have a center field position. It's always good to compare positions to positions. For first base and running it out there every day, we haven't seen anyone do this since freaking Pete Rose. So the best ability is availability and being good. Matt Olson brings both of that. And man, we don't see any of this anymore. So for, somewhat of a pretty boy, a guy that I've suggested dating my daughter, I don't know if everyone has him in the grit out there every day. Pete Rose diving into bases. He's doing that. He's doing that. So I love a guy who's out there playing. Shout out to Matty Olson.
I love me some Matty Olson. Stand-up guy. I want him to date your daughter, although that'd be weird by the time that they
the age gap's not going to work.
I don't think it's going to happen.
Not going to work.
No, but I understand what you're saying. I didn't know 30.8 career WAR already for our guy Matt Olson.
I mean,
okay. That's ridiculous. A stud of a player looks like to me, Jake. I mean, not looks like to me. I'm looking at the stats right now, struggling against the four-seam fastball this year. So that's got to be a timing thing. He does have that kind of like, he's tall, he has the
Right.
load, all these things. Maybe he needs to work on that a little bit. Last year hit 319 against the four-seamer, slug 633 against it. This year he's hitting 240 against the four-seam fastball, slugging only 450 against it. So maybe that's all he needs to do. Hey, listen to Coach Trev, like, start a little earlier. How about some velo training with the eyes? All these things. Maybe he's dealing with an injury. Sometimes that happens. But you're right. If he is dealing with an injury, he playing through it because he's out there every single. I respect that immensely. For not wanting to take a day off against a tough lefty. Oh, coach, I need a day off. All these lefties usually do that. Mike Moustakas.
Hey,
Oh, I tell him that all the time.
Malibu Mike.
I love that. No, Mike's a freaking stud. Might play golf with him later this week. I love that. Playing every day means something, especially when you talk to guys around the league. I forgot to mention this about Luis Suarez. I mean, he's banged up with his thumb, and he's just playing through it. And I told him when I saw him 2 days ago, it's like, guys respect that, dude. Like, everyone knows you're playing hurt, and you're still going out there and doing it. Guys respect that. You play every day, guys respect it around the league. So Matt Olson, fix the timing a little bit. You're a stud. I'd give him a big pat on the butt if I was there right
let's
now.
get a
Let's
hot
go, big fella.
Let's get a hot last month, Matty, because the season can still look great, but you got to finish. Amen.
Past the Phillies, penultimate series of the year. Don't they play each other? Matt Olson with a game-winning homer.
Left center.
Oh my God.
I mean, turned into a dog day ep at the end there. Got a little.
Was my award too long? I'm sorry.
It was passionate, man. I don't even know. It's intensity that people pay the big bucks
I saw you
for.
looking at me. That's when I knew I'm going too long.
It was passionate about Sean Reynolds, and that's the difference, man. So I'm good. Everyone, we'll see you Wednesday. Talk about a fun one. Ooh. Talk about a fun one. A first ever in Talkin' Baseball history. We will see you here for that. I stink.
Chick sucks.
Kick change. Seam shifted wake.
Blitzball 5.